Hello friends, welcome back to Chinese history and mythology. Last time, we said that everything in Zheng flipped overnight. At Shuzi, Duke Xiang of Qi set a trap, killed Zewei who had just been placed on the throne of Zheng, and captured the mastermind Gao Quimi and dragged him back to Qi. To turn the idea of a minister killing his ruler into a warning that everyone would remember, Duke Xiang used the harshest punishment on Gao Quimi. Then he hung Gao Qimi's head on the south gate of Qi and posted a public notice, so every person entering and leaving the city had to look up and see it clearly. If a minister dares to kill his ruler, this is how it ends. Right after that, Duke Xiang sent envoys to Zheng. He cited the standards of the Zhou son of heaven and called Yao Quimei a traitorous rebel. He also claimed that Qi had removed a disaster for Zheng. At the same time, he pushed Zheng to choose a new ruler quickly and make peace with Qi again. When the news reached Zheng, Yuanfen could not help sighing that Jiju's judgment was truly accurate. Jiju had already sensed that the Shuzi meeting felt wrong, so he refused to go. In the end, Zewei died, Gao Quimi was finished, and the Xing court was left without a ruler again. So the Xing ministers held an emergency discussion about who to install next. Shuzan suggested bringing back Li Gong, the former ruler who was still in Li. But Jiju rejected it at once. He said that a ruler who had already been expelled returning again would shame the ancestral temple. In the end, they decided to go to Chen and invite Zi back to take the throne. As soon as Zi came to power, he handed military and political authority to Jiju. Jiju stabilized the court again, calmed the people, and also sent notices to Qi Chen and other states that Zi now had a new ruler. Even more important, for self-protection, Zhang accepted the command of the king of Shu and agreed to send tribute to Shu every year. That meant Xing found a powerful backer among the great states. Li Gong and Li lost any chance to turn things around. He was blocked outside and pushed farther and farther to the margins. On the surface, Xing finally caught its breath and steadied itself after repeated internal chaos. But that is exactly where the next problem begins. Xing had just regained its footing. So would Duke Xiang of Qi, this newly intimidating strongman, really stop here? After Shu heard that Zun had submitted, would Shu demand even more? And with Li Gong driven into a corner, would he gamble on one last risky move? Let us keep going. Earlier, we mentioned that the Zhou son of heaven married his daughter, the princess Wangji, into Qi, and she became the wife of Duke Xiang of Qi. But Wangji was not the kind of person who loved crowds and social games. She was naturally quiet. She did not talk much. She liked peace and solitude. She did not like fighting for attention, and she did not like showing off. And yet, the man she married was Duke Xiang of Qi. What kind of person was he? To put it plainly, he was indulgent, lustful, and had no respect for boundaries. On the outside, he wore the robes of a ruler, but inside he did not treat ritual and moral rules as real limits at all. Wangji entered the palace of Qi, and within just a few months, she heard a piece of news that shattered her heart. She heard that Duke Xiang of Qi had long been doing something shameful with his own younger sister WenJiang. When that rumor reached her ears, it felt like someone struck her on the head with a heavy stick. She was the daughter of the Zhou son of heaven, raised from childhood under ritual education. She knew what a husband and wife should be. She knew what brother and sister should be. She knew what human morality is supposed to mean. But now she discovered that the man she married did not even recognize the most basic line of all dots. She did not dare say it openly. She had no one she could truly talk to, so she could only hide by herself and cry. As she cried, she cursed in her heart. People who commit incest are not even as good as pigs and dogs. Was heaven blind to marry me to someone like this? How can my fate be this bitter? Her heart grew colder, day by day. She became gloomy all the time. She ate less. She slept less. She grew thinner every day. Not long after, she fell ill. The illness came fast and it hit hard. The doctors came and looked, but there was not much they could do. In less than a year, Wangji died inside the palace of Qi. You could say that from the day she was married off, she never truly had a happy day. After Wangji died, Duke Xiang of Qi did not restrain himself at all. He became even more reckless. His heart still clung to WenJiang dodds, so he often made excuses. He said he was going outside the city to hunt, or he said he needed to relax. But the real reason was that he wanted to go to Zhou. Once he reached Zhou, he would secretly send people to Zhou to bring WenJiang out. Then the two of them would stay together in Zhou day and night, with no difference between day and night at all. He also knew that if Lu Juangong found out, a confrontation was inevitable. So he began thinking about pressing people down with force. So Duke Xiang of Qi personally led troops to attack Ji. Ji was weak to begin with, and it also had a long-standing blood feud with Qi. Once the Qi army moved, Ji could not hold. Qi quickly seized 3 places from Ji called Peng, Zi, and Wu. When the army pushed all the way to the city of Xi, Duke Xiang sent a message into the city and told the Marquis of Xi this: "Write a surrender letter at once. If you hesitate any longer, I will level this city to the ground." The Marquis of Xi felt a chill the moment he heard it. He sighed and said that Qi and Ji had been enemies for generations. "I will never live under the hand of an enemy and drag out my life in shame." He immediately had his wife Boji write a letter and send it to Lu, asking Lu to send troops to save Ji. But Duke Xiang of Qi was not foolish. He immediately issued a warning to all states. "Whoever dares to send troops to rescue Ji, I will strike that state first." On the Lu side, Lu Juangong was put in a very difficult position. He sent people to Zheng, hoping to join with Zheng and rescue Ji together. But Zheng's new ruler Zai feared that Li Gong and Li might attack Zheng if the army went out. So he did not dare move his troops. So Zheng could only reply that it could not send soldiers. With no ally, Lu Juangong could only march out on his own. When the Lu army reached Hua, they saw how massive the Qi forces were and how overwhelming their strength looked. Everyone in the Lu camp began to feel afraid. Lu Juangong hesitated again and again and did not dare go forward. The army stayed at Hua for 3 days, and in the end they withdrew and returned the way they came. When the Marquis of Ji heard that Lu had also pulled back, he knew the tide was gone. He understood that Ji could not be defended. So he entrusted his wife and children and the affairs of the whole city to his younger brother Yingji. He went to the ancestral temple, knelt down, and cried hard. At midnight, he quietly left the city gate, and from that moment, no one knew where he went. Yingji stayed behind and gathered the ministers to discuss what to do. He asked them one question: "Is it more important to die for the state, or to let the state continue to exist?" The ministers all answered that the state continuing to exist is the most important thing. Yingji then said that as long as the ancestral temple of Ji can still be preserved, what does a little humiliation matter? Everyone agreed. So Yingji wrote the surrender letter and agreed to submit to Kiev. He remained in Xi'an, guarded the ancestral temple of Ji. Duke Xiang of Qi accepted. Yingji handed over the records of Ji's land, its population, and everything else truthfully, and he bowed again and again in thanks. Duke Xiang received the registers and then did one more thing. He placed these documents beside the ancestral temple of Ji. He also assigned 30 households to take charge of the sacrifices for Ji, and he appointed Yingji as the temple keeper, allowing him to continue leading the ancestral rites for the Ji ancestors. But Boji, the wife of the Marquis of Ji, did not last long. After all the shock and upheaval, she soon fell ill and died as well. To please Lu, Duke Xiang gave an order to bury Boji with the full rank and ceremony of a ruler's wife. As for Boji's younger sister Shuju, who had come with her in marriage, Duke Xiang wanted to send her to Lu, but Shuju's attitude was extremely firm. She said that once a woman marries, she follows her husband for life. She remains loyal to one man and will never marry again. I live as a member of the Ying clan, and I die as a ghost of the Ying clan. I will never leave this place. Duke Xiang had no way to force her. He had to let her remain in Xi and keep her chastity for the Marquis of Ji. Many years later, Shuju finally died. Later, historians praised her. They said that in an age when morals were collapsing, she still held on to integrity, and that was rare. That year, when Duke Xiang of Qi swallowed Ji, it was the 7th year of King Zhuang of Zhou. In the same year, a major event also happened in the south, in Chu. King Wu of Chu, Zhangtong, was angry because the Marquis of Sui did not come to court to see him, so he led troops to attack Sui. But before the army even reached Sui, King Wu of Chu suddenly died. No one knew the reason. The Shu ministers, the Lingyan Duke, and the Maokuzhong did not announce the king's death right away, and they did not hold the funeral at once. Instead, they led the army along a smaller route and pressed straight toward the Sui city. When the Marquis of Sui heard that the Shu army had arrived, he thought the king of Shu was still alive. He was terrified and surrendered immediately. Kuzhong then used the name of King Wu of Chu as a cover and forced the Marquis of Sui to join the Shu alliance. Only after the Shu army had crossed the Han River smoothly did they publicly hold the funeral for King Wu of Chu. After that, King Wu's son, Zhongzi, took the throne and became king of Zhou. After Duke Xiang of Qi wiped out Qi, he led his army back home. On the way back, the display was huge. It looked like a clear victory march. WenJiang was already waiting on the main road. She came out in person to welcome her older brother, Duke Xiang of Qi. The moment the brother and sister saw each other, both of them were overwhelmed with emotion. When they reached Juchu, WenJiang set out a very grand banquet. She used the kind of ritual etiquette meant for two rulers meeting each other, and she drank and celebrated with Duke Xiang as if they were equals. During the feast, she kept urging him to drink. She spoke in an intimate way, and she even rewarded the key soldiers on the spot for this campaign. After the banquet ended, WenJiang went with Duke Xiang to Zhou. From that point on, the two of them were together almost every day. Day and night did not matter. Back and forth, again and again, every single day. Right at this time, Duke Xiang had WenJiang write a letter and summoned Duke Shuang of Lu to Zhou. Duke Shuang was WenJiang's son. He did not dare disobey his mother's command, so he set out for Zhou to see her. When WenJiang met Duke Zhuang, she made a new demand. She told him to go pay a visit to Duke Xiang, following the etiquette of a nephew meeting his maternal uncle. She also required Du Zhuang to thank Du Jiang in person for giving Jiboji a generous burial. Duke Zhuang felt deeply uncomfortable, but he did not dare resist. He could only force himself to follow his mother's wishes, step by step. Duke Xiang saw how cooperative Duke Shuang was, and he was very pleased. He also hosted Duke Shuang with very formal and lavish courtesies. Around this time, Duke Xiang's wife, Wangji, had already died, but she had left behind a daughter. The child was still very young and still nursing. WenJiang saw that Duke Xiang was not yet married, and she made the decision for him on the spot. She wanted Duke Shuang to be formally engaged to this little girl and to marry her in the future. Duke Shuang heard this and immediately tried to refuse. He said, "The child is still nursing. I cannot be engaged to her." WenJiang heard that and exploded. She loudly scolded Duke Zhuang, "Are you trying to cut off ties with your mother's side of the family?" At that moment, Duke Xiang actually stepped in to speak for Duke Shuang. He said the age gap between them is far too big. It is not suitable. But WenJiang would not listen at all. She answered at once, "Then marry her over after 20 years. That is still not too late." Duke Xiang feared that WenJiang would get angry and stop seeing him. Duke Shuang did not dare disobey his mother, so both men could only nod and agree. In this way, a relationship that was supposed to be nephew and uncle gained another layer, an engagement. The connection became even more complicated and even more abnormal. Later, Duke Xiang of Qi and Duke Shuang of Lu went out in their chariots to hunt outside Zhou. Duke Zhuang's archery was extremely accurate. He shot 9 arrows in a row, and every single one hit. Duke Xiang watched and praised him again and again. A local commoner saw this scene and quietly joked, "This man must be our ruler's adopted son." Duke Shuang heard that and immediately flew into a rage. He ordered his attendants to seize that commoner and kill him on the spot. Duke Xiang saw it and showed no sign of blame at all. Later historians wrote a poem about this, mocking Duke Zhuang for only recognizing his mother and forgetting the revenge owed for his father. After that hunt, WenJiang became even more shameless. She often stayed with Duke Xiang. Sometimes they were at Fanchang, sometimes at Zhou. Sometimes she even moved straight into the capital of Qi and spent the night inside the palace. The The two of them lived together openly, like a husband and wife. Inside Qi, some people could not stand it, so they wrote poems to mock her. That is the poem Qi Feng Zaivu. There is also another poem, Qi Feng Begu, and it mocks Duke Xiang of Lu. It says he could not control his mother. He watched her go back and forth, and he had no way to stop it. Now, after Duke Xiang returned from Zhou back to Qi, Marquis Zhou of Wei came out in person to welcome him. He congratulated Duke Xiang for destroying Qi, and then he smoothly asked one question. When will it be Wei's turn to be attacked? Duke Xiang replied that Wangji is already dead now, and there is no one left to step out and block it. But if we want to move, we still have to unite the other states, so we cannot rush. The Marquis of Wei thanked him again and again. Not long after, Duke Xiang sent people to invite the rulers of Song, Lu, Chen, and Tai. He wanted everyone to discuss together an expedition against Wei, to seize Wei Higong and bring him back. After the rulers arrived, they wrote a declaration of war together. The meaning of the declaration was that Wei had removed the old and installed the new, and that violated heaven's will. Now they would send troops to punish Wei and restore Wei Higong. When this declaration was written, it was the winter of the 8th year of King Zhuang of Zhou. After that, Duke Xiang personally led 500 chariots, and he and Marquis Zhou of Wei rushed ahead to the border of Wei. Song, Lu, Chen, and Tai also brought troops and arrived one after another. When the new ruler of Wei heard that the armies of 5 states were pressing in, he immediately discussed with Guangzi and Gongzi. They sent the official Ningui to Zhou at top speed to beg for urgent help. King Zhuang of Zhou summoned his ministers to discuss a response. Duke Jifu of Zhou and the Duke of Western Guoboyi spoke with one voice. If we send troops to save Wei, we cannot win at all. At that moment, a low-ranking, she stepped forward. This man was called Zichu. Zichu argued on the spot. The command of the Zhou king is justice itself. If we only look at strength and weakness and do not speak of what is right, the world will fall into chaos. His words made everyone there fall silent. King Yuang of Zhou asked him, If I send troops, what are you willing to do? Zichu answered, If no one is willing, I am willing to take the place of the Minister of War and go. King Zhuang asked again, Can you guarantee victory? Zichu said, I do not dare say we must win. I only dare say I will carry out the command. In the end, King Zhuang agreed to let Zichu lead troops to rescue Wei, but because people were jealous of him, they only gave him 200 chariots. Zichu did not complain. He took leave at the ancestral temple and set out at once. But when he arrived, the armies of the 5 states had already reached the city walls. 200 chariots could not stop them at all. As soon as the battle began, the Zhou forces were smashed apart. Zichu charged into the enemy lines and killed dozens of men. In the end, he drew his blade and killed himself, dying on the battlefield. Later generations praised him and said that even in defeat, he still carried honor. Back then, the soldiers defending the city of Wei heard one piece of news. The Zhou royal troops that had come to help had already been badly defeated. As soon as the defenders heard that, they panicked. A lot of people no longer wanted to hold the walls. Everyone rushed to run out. No one wanted to die inside the city. The Qi army moved the fastest, and they were the first to climb up onto the walls. Right after that, soldiers from Song, Lu, Chen, and Taiyi also followed and climbed up. The moment they got on the walls, they started smashing the city gates. When the gates were broken open, they cleared the way and let Marquis Zhou of Wei enter the city. At this time, inside Wei, Gongzi and Gongzi were still together with the officer Ningui. They gathered the remaining soldiers who had not fled, protected Qianmu, and escaped out of the city. On the road, they ran straight into the army of Lu. Both sides began fighting at once, and it turned into another chaotic battle. In the chaos, Ningui ran the fastest and escaped first. But Qianmu, Gongzi, and Gongzi were captured. All 3 became prisoners. After Ningui got away, he knew it himself. He no longer had the power to turn back and save those 3. He let out a sigh, turned around, and fled to Qin to seek refuge. After the ruler of Lu captured the 3 men, he did not handle them himself. He handed them over to Marquis Zhou Wei. Marquis Zhou received the 3 prisoners and felt uneasy. He did not dare decide on his own whether to kill them or spare them, so he sent them on to Kiev and let Duke Xiang of Qi decide. Duke Xiang gave a direct order. He told the executioners to behead Gongzi and Gongzi Hi. As for Gongzi Qianmu, Duke Xiang did not kill him. The reason was clear. Gongzi Qianmu was the Zhou king's son-in-law, and Qi also had family ties with him, so Duke Xiang pardoned him and allowed him to return to Zhou. After this was done, Marquis Zhou returned to Wei and had bells rung and drums beaten. He announced to the whole state that he had become ruler of Wei again. Then he opened the state treasury. He took out all the jade and precious treasures stored inside and sent them to Duke Xiang of Qi. Duke Xiang received the jade but did not keep all of it for himself. He first said one sentence. The ruler of Lu captured 3 princes. That is real merit. So he took half of the jade sent by Marquis Zhou and passed it on to the ruler of Lu. And he did not stop there. Duke Xiang also had Marquis Zhou take out more wealth. Those treasures were sent separately to Song, Chen, and Tai. It was his way of calming everyone down and rewarding each state that joined this campaign. That year was the 9th year of King Zhuang of Zhou. Now, back to Duke Xiang of Qi. After he defeated Zichu and then let Qianmu go, he began to worry. He worried that the Zhou royal house would later send troops to punish Qi, so he made an arrangement. He appointed the officer Lian Cheng as general. He also appointed Wangji as deputy commander. He sent them to lead troops and garrison Quiqiu. Duke Xiang's goal was very clear. He wanted to block the road coming from the southeast. If trouble came, he wanted early warning and early defense. When Lian Cheng and Wangji came to see Duke Xiang, they said to him, "Guarding the border is a bitter duty. We do not dare refuse. We only want to ask one thing. When will this duty end?" At that time, Duke Xiang was eating watermelon. As he ate, he answered casually, "Right now, the melons are ripe. When next year's melons are ripe, I will definitely send someone to replace you and bring you back." The 2 generals could only accept the order. They led troops to Quiqiu and settled in. Without noticing, a full year passed. One day, the border soldiers bought some watermelons. They brought them for Lian Cheng and Guangji to taste. The moment Lian Cheng and Guangji saw the watermelons, they remembered last year's words. Back then, Duke Xiang said, "When next year's melons are ripe, I will replace you and bring you back." Now, the melons were ripe again. By rights, it was time for a rotation, so the 2 of them discussed it. Now it should be time to replace us. Why has the ruler not sent anyone? They felt uneasy, so they deliberately sent a trusted man back to the capital to ask for news. The trusted man came back with one message. Duke Xiang was at Gucheng, having fun with WenJiang. Duke Xiang had not returned to the capital for a full month. When Lian Cheng heard this, his anger flared up at once. He was furious and said straight out, "After Wangji died, my younger sister became the replacement wife. But this ruler has no human morals. He ignores ethics and indulges in wild lust outside every day, and we are suffering on the border. I will kill him." Lian Cheng then turned to Guangji and said, "You must help me." Guangji answered very calmly. He said, "The ruler said with his own mouth that when this year's melons are ripe, he will replace us and bring us back. Maybe he forgot. I think we should first send someone to request the rotation. If the request is refused, the soldiers' anger will only grow. At that time, it will actually be more in our favor. What do you think?" Lian Cheng immediately said, "Good, we do it this way." So they sent people to deliver watermelons to Duke Xiang. At the same time, the messenger made a request. "Please follow what you said before, and replace us and bring us back." Duke Xiang heard it and became enraged. He said directly, "Whether you are replaced or not is my decision. What is the use of your request? Wait for the melons to ripen one more time. The messenger carried these words back to Qigu. When Liancheng heard them, he was furious. He said to Guangjifu, "If we want to assassinate Duke Xiang now, do you have any good plan?" Guangjifu said, "For an assassination, you must have someone on the inside. Without help from people inside the palace, it is very hard to succeed." Then he mentioned one man, Gongsun Wuji. Guangjifu explained in detail. He said, "Gongsun Wuji is the son of Gongzi Zhongnian. In the past, our former ruler, Duke, she loved Ya Zhongnian because of their shared mother, and he also liked Wuji very much. Wuji grew up in the palace from childhood. He had many fine clothes, and his treatment was almost the same as a prince who could inherit. Later, after Duke Xiang took the throne, there was an old matter. When Wuji was young, he once wrestled with Duke Xiang. Wuji hooked him with his foot and threw Duke Xiang down hard. Duke Xiang never forgot this and held deep hatred in his heart. There was also another time when Wuji argued with the officer Yonglin. Duke Xiang felt Wuji was not humble, so he scolded him harshly. He also demoted Wuji several ranks in a row. Wuji has hated that for a long time. Wuji also wants to strike at Duke Xiang. He simply has lacked helpers. If we secretly contact him and let him act as the insider, and we support from the outside, and we strike from inside and outside together, this can very likely succeed." Liancheng asked. "Then when is the best time to act?" Guangjifu answered, "Duke Xiang likes war and also likes hunting. Once he leaves the palace, that is when he is easiest to strike. But there is one key point. We must learn in advance the exact time he goes out. If the timing is wrong, we will fail." Liancheng said at once, "My younger sister has already fallen out of favor in the palace. She also hates Duke Xiang. We will send someone to tell Wuji. Let Wuji and my younger sister plan it first. Once they know the exact time Duke Xiang goes out, they must send word overnight. Then nothing will be delayed." So Liancheng wrote a letter and had a trusted man deliver it to Gongsun Wuji in secret. The letter was very clear, and its meaning was like this: "Respected Gongsun Wuji, in the past you were always favored by our former ruler, like a true son. But now, for no reason, you have been demoted several ranks. Even people passing by feel it is unfair for you. This foolish ruler is addicted to wild lust, and it grows worse day by day. His orders change today and change again tomorrow, always turning back and forth. We have guarded Qigu for more than a year. He promised that when this year's melons are ripe, he would replace us and bring us back. Now he has gone back on his word. The whole army is furious to the extreme. If you choose the right moment, we are willing to do our best to support you. My younger sister in the palace has also lost favor and is full of resentment. As long as you are willing to be the insider, we are willing to cooperate. Please think carefully and do not miss this chance." Gongsun Wuji read the letter Liancheng sent, and he felt truly pleased. He immediately wrote a reply. In that reply, he basically said this: "Heaven has always hated people who commit incest and indulge their private desires without restraint. I am deeply grateful for the general's trust in me. What you wrote in your letter moved me that one day I will repay you. As for being the insider, please rest assured, when the crucial moment comes, I will inform you in advance." After sending the letter out, Gongsun Wuji did one more thing right away. He secretly sent one of his maidservants to find Liancheng's younger sister, Consort Lian. He told the maidservant to show Consort Lian the letter written in Liancheng's own hand. Gongsun Wuji also asked her to pass on one sentence to Consort Lian: "If this succeeds, I will make you the principal lady of the state." Consort Lian heard that and agreed on the spot. She said she would cooperate. Time reached the 10th month of the 11th year of King Zhou of Zhou. The weather had turned cold, and winter was about to arrive. At this time, Duke Xiang of Qi heard something. Out in the wild around Guffin, there was a mountain called Baiqiu Mountain. That mountain was full of birds and beasts, a place where wild animals gathered. It was a great place for hunting. Duke Xiang felt tempted and decided to hunt there. He notified the servant Fei and the attendants in advance to prepare the chariots, horses, and the escort. He planned to go hunt at Baku Mountain in the next month. This news quickly reached the palace. As soon as Consort Lian heard it, she sent someone from inside the palace to secretly deliver a message to Gongsun Wuji. After Gongsun Wuji received the message, he immediately sent someone overnight to Guikyu. He delivered the news to Lian Cheng and Guan Gifu. In the letter, they agreed to act in the first 10 days of the 11th month. After Lian Cheng got this news, he turned and asked Guan Yifu, "If the ruler goes out hunting, the capital will be empty. If we lead troops back and seize the capital, and then raise Gongsun Wuji to the throne, do you think that can work?" Guan Gifu shook his head and said, "Duke Xiang has decent relations with neighboring states. If something happens to him, and they immediately send reinforcements, we cannot hold them off. It is better to set an ambush first over in the Guffin area. When he comes out to hunt, we kill this foolish ruler first, then we raise Gongsun Wuji. That will be the most secure plan." Lian Cheng agreed that this made sense. The border troops at Guikyu had suffered through a hard year. They had been stationed outside for too long, and everyone wanted to go home. Lian Cheng secretly ordered everyone to prepare dry rations. The target was the area around Baku Mountain. When the soldiers heard this order, not a single one objected. They were actually delighted, and they clapped and cheered. Now back to Duke Xiang of Qi. On the first day of the 11th month, he did set out in his chariot to hunt at Baku Mountain. This time, he did not bring many people. He only brought the strong man, Shi Jifunru. He also brought Meng Yang, the official he trusted most. He also brought hunting hawks and had hunting dogs led along. He did not bring any major ministers. The group first arrived at Guffin. There was a detached palace there, a place for the ruler to stay temporarily when traveling. Duke Xiang and his party played there for an entire day. The local people brought them wine and meat. Duke Xiang drank quite a lot. It grew very late. They had no choice but to stay the night in the detached palace. On the next day, the group rode on in their chariots toward Baku Mountain. Halfway along the road, they saw a forest. The trees were dense, and vines were tangled everywhere. Duke Xiang stopped his chariot and climbed a nearby high mound of earth. He'd ordered them to set the forest on fire. Then he had the area surrounded and began shooting game. The hunting hawks and hunting dogs were released as well. The wind was strong, and the fire burned fiercely. Foxes and rabbits in the forest were driven by the flames and ran everywhere. Just then, a huge wild boar suddenly charged out. This boar did not look like an ordinary pig. It was as large as an ox. It also looked like an old tiger without stripes. It fled out of the fire and rushed straight toward the mound. The boar ran up to the chariot and suddenly stopped. Then it lay down right in front of Duke Xiang's chariot. Everyone else was busy shooting and hunting. Only Meng Yang was standing beside Duke Xiang. Duke Xiang glanced at Meng Yang and said, "Shoot this big boar for me." Meng Yang looked closely, and his face changed at once. He shouted, "That is not a boar. That is Gongzi Pensheng." Duke Xiang heard this and became furious. He said, "How dare Pensheng come to see me?" He snatched Meng Yang's bow and shot himself. He shot 3 arrows in a row, and none of them hit. At this moment, the huge boar suddenly stood up. It braced its front legs on the ground. It lifted its front hooves and walked forward like a human. It let out a shrill cry. That sound was deeply miserable. Everyone present was terrified. Duke Xiang felt cold all over. He fell off the chariot at once. His left foot slammed hard against the ground and was injured immediately. One patterned silk shoe also fell off his foot. That wild boar ran over, picked up the shoe in its mouth, and turned and ran. In a moment, it vanished, without a trace. Later, a poet wrote verses about it, with this meaning: Duke Wan of Lu died in a chariot back then. Today, Duke Xiang of Qi met a wronged spirit by a chariot as well. Back then, he wrongly killed Peng Sheng. Today, all the pulling of bows and shooting of arrows could not save him. At this time, the servant Fei and the attendants all rushed over. They helped Duke Xiang back into the chariot and laid him down. Then they gave an order. Stop hunting. Return to the detached palace at Gufen. After Duke Xiang returned to the palace, he was in terrible condition. His mind was dazed and his heart was restless. At night, the watchman had already struck the second watch. Because his left foot hurt so badly, Duke Xiang could not sleep at all. He said to Mengyan, "Support me and let me walk a few steps slowly." As he walked, he realized something. When he fell from the chariot during the day, one shoe was missing. He immediately told the servant Fei to look for it. Fei answered, "The shoe was taken away by that big boar." Duke Xiang's anger flared up at once. He cursed, "Since you came out with me, why did you not check whether I still had my key shoe on my foot? If it really was carried off, why did you not say it at the time?" After he said that, he swung his leather whip and struck Fei's back viciously. He struck him again and again. He kept whipping until blood came out and stained the ground red. After taking that beating, Fei walked out with tears in his eyes. Right outside the door, he ran into Lian Cheng, who had come with men to scout the situation. Lian Cheng saw that the chance had arrived. He immediately tied Fei up and demanded, "Where is that ruler with no human morals right now?" Fei answered, "In the bedchamber." Lian Cheng asked again, "Is he asleep?" Fei said, "Not yet." Lian Cheng raised his blade and was about to cut Fei down. Fei quickly said, "Do not kill me. I can go in first and scout the way for you." Lian Cheng did not fully trust him. Fei continued, "He just whipped me into this state. I also want to kill him." As he spoke, he took off his outer garment and showed his back. Lian Cheng saw that Fei's back was a mess of torn flesh and blood. Only then did he believe him. He loosened the ropes and let Fei act as the insider. Right after that, Lian Cheng sent someone to summon Guan Gifu. He told him to bring troops at once to the outside of the detached palace and prepare to attack. Once Fei was freed, he walked inside immediately. He happened to meet Shi Jifenru. He told Shi Jifenru that Lian Cheng was about to rebel. Then he ran to the bedchamber and told Duke Xiang the same news. When Duke Xiang heard it, he panicked completely. He did not know what to do. Fei said, "Now the danger is right in front of us. If we find someone to pretend to be you and lie on the bed and you hide behind the window, then when the rebels rush in, they will not be able to tell real from fake in time. Maybe you can escape disaster." Meng Yang stepped forward and said, "I have received too many favors from you. I am willing to repay with my life. I am not afraid to die." After saying this, he lay down on the bed. He lay facing inward. Duke Xiang personally untied his brocade dragon robe and covered Meng Yang with it. Then he hid below the outside of the window. Duke Xiang asked Fei, "What about you?" Fei said, "I will go with Shi Jifenru to block the enemy." Duke Xiang asked, "Does your back not hurt?" Fei answered, "If I do not fear death, why would I fear this pain?" Duke Xiang sighed. A truly loyal minister. Then Fei had Shi Jifenru guard the inner gate. Fei himself held a blade alone. He pretended to go out and welcome the rebels, and he moved to stab Lian Cheng first. By this time, the rebels had already rushed through the main gate. Lian Cheng charged in front with a sword in his hand. Guan Jifu was outside arranging the formation. Fei saw that Lian Cheng's momentum was too fierce. There was no time to explain. He could only meet him head-on and thrust his blade at Lian Cheng. But Fei did not know. Lian Cheng was wearing heavy armor. The blade could not pierce it. Lian Cheng swung back with one sword stroke. He first chopped off 2 of Fei's fingers. Then he struck again and split half of Fei's head open. Fei died on the spot inside the gate. Shi Jifenru saw this and charged forward with a long spear. The two fought for more than 10 exchanges. As they fought, Lian Cheng kept pressing forward. Shi Jifenru retreated step by step. When he retreated to the steps, his foot slipped. Lian Cheng slashed down. Shi Jifenru fell and died. Lian Cheng stormed into the bedchamber. The servants inside had already fled. Inside the canopy, someone lay on the bed. The brocade dragon robe covered the body. Lian Cheng slashed with one stroke. The head of the person on the bed separated from the neck at once. Lian Cheng held up a candle and looked. He saw the person was very young. There was not even a beard on the face. Lian Cheng said, "This is not that foolish ruler." He immediately ordered a search of the room. No one else was found. Lian Cheng himself held the candle and looked around. Suddenly, under the window ledge, he saw a patterned silk shoe. He understood at once. Someone is hiding behind the window. He pushed the window open and looked. He saw Duke Xiang curled into a ball because his foot hurt. One foot wore a shoe. The other foot was bare. That shoe had been taken by the boar during the day. Yet now it appeared here. This was clearly the work of a wronged spirit. Lian Cheng grabbed Duke Xiang in one hand, as if grabbing a chick. He threw him into the room. He cursed loudly, "You ruler with no human morals. You have waged wars for years and harmed the people and the state. That is not benevolence. You defied your father's command and pushed away Gongsun Wuji. That is not filial duty. You slept with your own younger sister and broke human bonds. That is against propriety. You promised a rotation, then went back on your word. That is not trustworthiness. Benevolence, filial duty, propriety, and trust. You have none of them. Are you even human? Today I take revenge for Duke Wan of Lu." After cursing, Lian Cheng raised his blade. He chopped Duke Xiang into several pieces. He wrapped the body in a bedsheet. Together with WenJiang, he buried them beneath the window. Duke Xiang held the throne for only 5 years. Later historians commented on this event like this: Duke Xiang pushed away capable ministers, yet he drew close to men like Shi Jifenru, Meng Yang, and the servant Fei. He gave them many favors in ordinary times. These men were willing to die for him, but they could not be called true loyal ministers or righteous men. They were not worth honoring with a monument. As for Lian Cheng and Guanjifu, they had been sent to the frontier for a long time. No one replaced them. In the end, they offended their ruler and killed him. This matter, rather than being called only their crime, was more the result of Duke Xiang's many evils. Through their hands, he received his retribution. Before Pencheng died, he once said, "After I die and become a ghost, I will still take your life." Later, when the wild boar appeared, it was no coincidence at all. Later, some people wrote poems to remember the servant Fei and Shi Jifenru. Others wrote poems for Duke Xiang. Their meaning was the same. When evil deeds pile up, a result will surely come. After Lian Cheng and Guanjifu reorganized the troops, they immediately led the army back to Kyiv. As for Gongsun Wuji, he had already gathered loyal soldiers in secret. When he heard that Duke Xiang had been killed, he immediately led troops to open the city gates. He let Lian Cheng, Guan, Jifu, and their army enter the city. Lian Cheng and Guan Gefu said to Gongsun Wuji, "We follow the last ruler Duke Xi's will, and we enthrone you Gongsun Wuji as ruler." Gongsun Wuji kept his word. He made consort Lian the principal lady of the state. He made Lian Cheng the chief minister and called him the state uncle. He made Guan Yifu the deputy chief minister. The old officials felt unwilling in their hearts, but they had no choice. They could only line up according to Gongsun Wuji's arrangement. Only the officer Yanglin knelt and bowed his head. He apologized to Gongsun Wuji and admitted fault for that past quarrel. His attitude was extremely humble. Gongsun Wuji did not make things hard for him. He still let him remain as an officer. As for Gao Guo, who claimed illness and did not come to court, Gongsun Wuji did not pursue it. He did not dismiss him. Guan Yifu advised Gongsun Wuji, "You should post notices to invite worthy men that can raise your reputation." Gongsun Wuji accepted this advice. So Guan Gifu recommended someone to him. That person was his own younger kinsman. His name was Guan Yewu. Gongsun Wuji immediately sent someone to invite Guan Yewu, but would Guan Yewu come? We will continue next episode. Chinese culture mini lesson: why ancient lawyers were looked down on. In ancient China, what we would call a lawyer was usually called a songqi or a zhuangqi. When people thought they behaved badly, they were mocked as songgun. They mainly helped by writing complaints, planning arguments, and giving advice outside the official system. Their social status was low, and their work often sat in a forbidden or gray zone. Can you picture the scene in your head? A wooden block slams on the desk, the court runners shout that long, drawn-out cry the moment someone steps into the Yamen hall, their legs go weak. For many people, their first impression of an ancient lawsuit comes from loud and exaggerated movie scenes like Nine-Pin Sesame, Official Fang, Tanging yelling until his voice breaks bow, Longsing slamming the table, the plot moving like it is on fast forward. But if we pull the camera out of the film and put it back into real life, one detail becomes much more interesting. In that world, there really were people like ancient lawyers. They were called songshi. Their work was very similar to lawyers today. They gave people strategies, helped them plan their case, and wrote legal documents. The strange part is that they could make good money, and at the same time people often despised them. Many were even cursed, as songgun, a word that sounds close to calling someone a villain. In this episode, we are going to talk about this profession that was smart, profitable, and widely hated. You can imagine it as a narrow bridge squeezed between the government and the common people. People cross it every day. The water below is rough. If you walk it straight, you can save someone. If you walk it crooked, you can ruin someone. First, place the songshi into the bigger background of the era. In ancient society, going to the Yamen to sue was sometimes described as a kind of habit, a love of litigation. When people became more willing to defend their interests and disputes increased, the Yamen became a giant funnel that kept absorbing conflict. But rulers did not like ordinary people filing cases, and many officials did not want to handle local disputes. It was hard to satisfy both sides. If one side felt wronged, they might appeal upward or even travel to the capital to file a direct complaint that was called capital complaint. And for an official, it meant trouble, risk, and a thorn in their career. In that environment, the songshi became a kind of professional in the gray zone. They often could not stand in court and argue for you. In many cases, the system demanded that the parties themselves appear and confront each other. Outsiders could not truly act as agents, and the songshi could not enter the main hall. But behind the scenes, they could help you craft a complaint that was tight and clean. They could place the words exactly where the official feared most and cared most. A sheet of writing could become a thin blade. One light cut could open a weakness in the other side. Picture that scene, a lamp flickering at night, the paper window breathing in the wind, the songshi sits at the desk, the ink in the inkstone is as dark as a still pond. He does not look up, he listens as the client speaks in broken bits. Who owes me money? Who took my land? Who refuses to admit it? While listening, he is already arranging troops in his mind. Which words can be said? Which words cannot? Which sentence will make an official frown? Which sentence will make an official decide? What he writes is not an essay, it is a weapon of words meant to push a life toward one direction. So where did this kind of person come from? The text says the roots can be traced back as far as the spring and autumn period too. Dengshi often linked with the tradition of logical debate, that school was skilled in reasoning and argument, and that naturally meant skill in lawsuits. Lushi Chen Chu records that Dengshi helped people write pleadings and fight cases for a big case. He charged a robe for a small case. He charged a pair of trousers. Even the pricing feels vivid. Nothing was free. Clothes became the price of winning. People came to him non-stop. He earned so much that it felt like he could run a clothing shop at that time. There was not yet the term songshi, but the shadow of the profession was already there. It was not until the Song dynasty, as society grew, cities expanded, and disputes increased, that songshi gradually appeared as a recognized occupational label. Many songshi were self-taught, especially people who failed the civil service exams and could not become officials. They could read and write. They had strong logic, and they knew how to quote classics that made this path tempting. Helping someone win a case was not just sharp talk. You had to shape your reasoning into a form the government would accept. That leads to a fascinating point. Ancient China had nothing like a modern law school yet. Among the people there were many secret manuals for songshi. These were professional handbooks that taught how to write complaints and how to move through procedure. Why were they called secret? Because rulers emphasized stopping litigation and disliked people running to court, and in a deeper sense, law expressed the will of those in power. In Zhuojuan, there is a famous idea that if punishments cannot be fully known, authority stays unpredictable. The less people understood the law, the more they feared it. Once people understood it and learned to use it, they became harder to control. So manuals that taught people how to sue had to circulate quietly. Officials might restrict them, but the people kept learning and using them anyway. How skilled did a Songshi need to be? Their core work was writing the complaint. A good complaint needed tight logic, accurate legal points, and also strong classical references. Many officials came from a Confucian education. If you wanted him to accept your claim, you had to speak in his language and wrap your demand in a form that looked proper. It is like visiting someone who cares deeply about rules. You cannot walk in wearing slippers. You straighten your collar and speak in a way that fits the room. The text gives a striking case from a Qing-era notes and anecdotes collection in Huzhu Zhejiang. There was a female Songshi nicknamed Chuang de Lianyang. She was famous for quoting classics one year. The north of the Yangtze suffered a great disaster. Grain merchants from Zhangbei came to Jiangnan to buy rice. Jiangnan merchants feared their grain would be bought out and would hurt local business, so they refused to sell. The two sides ended up in court. The Jiangbei merchants worried the local magistrate would favor locals, so they paid heavily to hire Chuang de Lianyang to write their complaint. In her complaint, one line became legendary. Even in times of warring states, people could move grain and migrate under one unified empire. Why should we divide Zhangbei and Jiangnan? Listen to the force of that. On the surface, it is a business dispute in one stroke. She lifts it to a political level. If the magistrate protects Jiangnan merchants, it sounds like he is dividing the empire into north and south. Even if he wants to protect locals, he dares not wear the blame of splitting the realm. In the end, the Jiangbei merchants won. At that moment, you see what makes a Songshi truly dangerous. It is not only knowledge of law, it is knowledge of human nature and knowledge of the political minefields. In an official world, they are like someone drawing a map in the dark. They know exactly where one wrong step will explode. The text gives another example that feels more comedic. In a debt case, a Songshi wrote a complaint for the creditor and described the debtor perfectly, then added a sharp line: when borrowing silver, he spoke like a Buddha when asked to repay. He moved like Sun Wukong's heels. The meaning is obvious. When he borrowed, he sounded kind and holy. When it was time to repay, he flipped fast and ran. Today, we say someone is humble when borrowing and arrogant when repaying. Ancient people understood the same pattern, but they expressed it with more style and with a smile that hides a blade. But Songshi did not only write harsh lines, they also had to understand human relationships, and sometimes they could settle disputes before anyone entered the hall. The text mentions a Songshi in Wuhu during the Qing who handled a lawsuit between brothers. He did not rush to write a complaint. He made the two brothers face each other and call out. One says elder brother, the other answers younger brother. Before 10 calls were finished, they withdrew the case. That image is beautiful. It does not crush people with logic, it pulls them back with kinship. Many conflicts are not about winning, they are about swallowing a breath of anger at the moment you put the relationship on the table and ask who you are to each other. The anger softens and the knife becomes dull, but there is a condition. Both sides must still care about face and still recognize family. The text also stays realistic. Some people will fight for property no matter what. No mediation works. They only recognize money, not kinship. You could call them elder brother or even call them father and it would not move them. It sounds funny, but it is also painful. Now you might think if Songshi were so useful, their status should have been high. In fact, it was often the opposite. Songshi often had education and could earn well, but their social standing was low and public opinion often attacked them. Why? Look at money first. The text says that in the Qing writing, one complaint could cost 3 to 5 taels of silver, and a major case involving the death penalty could cost more. A normal person might earn around 10 taels a year. That means a Songshi could write a few complaints and match another person's full year of income. When someone makes that much, people get jealous. Jealousy turns into resentment. Resentment turns into labels. People call them Songgun and say they live by stirring trouble. Then look at politics. Rulers disliked litigation and officials feared trouble. If someone refused a judgment, they might appeal upward and create pressure, even risk a Songshi. Helped people push disputes right toward the yamen that naturally triggered ideological suppression. From this angle, you can understand why those manuals had to stay secret. And there is a reality we should admit. Every profession has bad actors. The text says some Songshi chased money, stirred conflict on purpose, encouraged lawsuits, and even used false evidence. They damaged the reputation of the whole group. Good Songshi could save people, bad Songshi could harm people. In the end, public opinion often refused to separate them and simply condemned them all. But the text gives an even deeper explanation, and it is the sharpest one: ancient China was closer to rule by people than rule by law. The role of the Songshi was to help ordinary people use law as a tool to protect themselves. But once people learned to defend their rights, they touched the interests of those in power. For some rulers, the ideal common people are those who do not know and who obey. They do not understand legal leverage. They do not even imagine that they can fight back. The Songshi taught people that they could fight. That alone could be seen as a threat. So you get a final contradiction. Songqi were a toolbox for the people and also a thorn in the structure of power. They wrote complaints as if they were only writing on paper, but behind that paper was an ordinary person trying to pull fate a little closer to their own hands. Let me end with one last picture. Imagine you stand at the gate of the county yamen. The stone steps are high, the doorway is deep, inside is heavy shadow in your hands. You grip a complaint, the edge of the paper has softened from sweat. You do not know what will happen once you go in, you only know you must go in. Behind you, not far away, the Songqi stands by the wall like a quiet shadow. He cannot walk in for you, but he has written what you must say, the points you must seize, and the traps you must avoid. You glance back at him. He says nothing, he only gives a small nod. In ancient times, many people never had a chance to speak for reason at all. The existence of the Songqi taught some people one thing: reason can be written, words can be shaped into a weapon. So here is a question for you. In a world that praised stopping lawsuits, were Songqi troublemakers, or were they in some way repairmen of order among the people? That may be the most interesting part of this profession.
Sky in light, Nua healed the broken heart. Fuxi traced the world's design. Every age leaves stories bright. Yaya dynasty shaped bronze. Shang dynasty cast leave stories bright. History and myth ignite in endless light. China's history moves in mystery through the night. Footsteps of this land enchant the world in light. Kingdoms dynasty turn war to tales. Qin dynasty led ink and mountains bloom. Sui dynasty carved the Grand Canal. Tang dynasty crowned the world with art. Song dynasty raised learn.